And in 2003, a lot of things came in tune for you. A lot of things line up, right? Going into that year, you were not the favorite to win.
Yes.
But walk me through that year for you, right? Because remember when you were at Barton College, you said, I have to stay focused because this is going to be the way to help not only myself, but my family. Going into that year, right? Obviously, every year, you have to believe it's going to be your year. You have to believe it's going to be the year that everything unfolds and all the hard work and everything sacrifices, it all pays off. But what you said in Barton, this is going to be the pathway for it. What was going into that year like for you? Because you surprised a lot of people. Did you surprise yourself?
No, because I was mad. I was mad from 2002.
It's a pleasure to have you on today. I have a whole bunch of questions that I want to get into. You know, we have a bunch of things in common, and we're gonna get over that as we go. But Aleen, I wanna start here, right? Because nobody expected the past 2 years, year and a half to go as it did, with the pandemic causing a bunch of disruptions and messing up a whole bunch of things. And it's still something we're also trying to recover from. But Aleen, how did you navigate through the height of the pandemic, right? Not just physically, obviously a lot of physical changes, but mentally as well too. And I'm going to challenge you, Aleen, to give me a positive that came from it.
So I had a therapist and I bought a bicycle.
Okay.
So yeah, I biked a lot. I didn't know I could bike that long. I think like I biked about 20 miles one time, which was
Wow.
like, yeah, me, like a sprinter, we don't do that. So, and then I still bike every once in a while. My bike, I just need to put some air in my tire because it's that time of year when I don't want to run. It's cold, so my knees don't work well when it's cold in the winter. Hold you in. So I bike.
But you said you started biking. Why biking?
Because my right knee bothers me, and I usually run like when I'm stressed or anything, like running. Running like is a way for me to think and clear my head. But then my knee wasn't allowing me to. So I was like, you know what? Bicycle might do the trick. So I got a bicycle and a bike. I was biking the entire time. So, and then, then when we finally got, my high school finally got to have a track season this year. So that helped me because I was around my kids, pouring into them, my love for track and helping them get better. So, yeah.
I mean, you still look like you can run, you know, maybe a little 11.4 just now still. How you?
Maybe a little bit, just a little bit.
Aleen, you know, we have to build a foundation here before we can even get into the track side of things, you know. So we're going to go back to St. Mary's, Jamaica, right? Growing up in a household with 3 siblings, you know, you being the only girl, what was that situation like? Because I'm sure you had to develop a certain level of toughness at an early age, right? So much of us as people, our foundation is built from our environment and what we see. You know, I was born in Jamaica myself, and the community was there, your parents were there, the guardians were there, but they would always say some small gems along the way that you didn't understand what am I saying, but you come around and say, okay, that made sense. Aleen, from an early age, what were some things that you maybe saw indirectly or was directly instilled in you?
It's just my work ethics because my mom worked very hard to make sure, because she worked and then she came home and she made sure we were okay as kids. And then I had people around me in the neighborhood, my godparents, they when my mom wasn't available, they took care of us. And my brothers pretty much were my parents too.
Yeah.
Because they're older, so they took charge. And my brothers cooked. They're really good chefs. And we used to run boat, and they used to make these big dumplings called spinners.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So I mean, it's just my work ethic, and you know, you have to work hard for everything that you want to have. And that's just because everything we had to work hard for. And then there's a lot that we had to survive with a little, because there's like a lot we didn't have. Because like I had brothers and I got hand-me-downs. So I was like,
Yes.
and stuff. Um, my mom didn't get me a dress until the church started complaining. She a little girl, man, was she wearing a pants and and because my mom was an evangelist, so she had
Yeah.
to like, adapt to that. And barefoot was the thing. So you get to be tough. And living with my brothers, I get to be tough because I have to play with them and they were rough. And I didn't get to play like the girly stuff. I had to play cowboy and Indian cricket,
Hmm.
football, street race, and all of that stuff. And we sang on the church choir. Um, but it was just that we were there for each other, and it's just like the love that my siblings and I had. We have like bond that is unbreakable.
It's funny, right? Because in an early age, when you don't have much, you have to become resourceful, right?
Yeah.
These youths nowadays don't really understand that
No.
type of, what I'm saying? So they don't know what it's like to go outside and to climb a tree and to do all of these things that we used to do back, to get ourself entertained. What were some things that you were doing, Aleen? Were you climbing trees? Say coconut around the tree. What type of stuff were you doing to keep yourself focused, right? Because your way into track didn't exactly start out as something to fun, which we're going to get into that. But what were you doing to keep yourself entertained?
Let's see. I was climbing trees. My godfather had like pigs and cows and goats, so it was like a farming community. So
Mm-hmm.
I became the neighborhood vet, even though I didn't go to school for it. So pretty much like, because I love animals. So pretty much when there's a sick animal, they just take them to me and I'll nurture it back to health and all of that stuff. So that kept me active. And then I would like hang out with my friends. We'll play cricket, um, football, race to one another, climb tree. And there's this one mean old lady that wouldn't give us our money. I think that was where my first introduction to running got, because we would have to steal it and jump the tree and run.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have been on hurdler because I used to hurdle a lot of fence too. So that's how I came my time. And I loved reading. I used to have like a whole backpack with books. And my mom reminded me, I used to climb the trees and just find like a little nook and just chill and read. So
Really, from that age, what was the interest in reading? Was it just something you're
I
interested
was
in?
just reading like there's books that was just teaching you like the different phrases because I was like younger. But I can't remember all the books I read. Definitely had the Bible. That was like one of the main books that I had to read. And there was like just random books. I can't even remember them. And there's like a book that would say, I am Pam, I am Roy, I am. So I
Mm.
like those little books going up. So yeah. And then the brothers, they were older. So sometimes I borrowed their books from school to read. So I can catch up to them. But that's
Aline,
it.
I think everybody sees you on the track, right? At least back when you were running, they see that part of it. And a lot of people's involvement in track and field is a little bit different, right? Some people, it may be, staying out of trouble. It may be an escape, but for you, it was an outlet in a way. And I want to talk a little bit about that, Aleen, because you were 10 years old, if I remember correctly, as I was reading, when something happened to you. And it's honestly something that, not a lot of people are talking about these days, right? Certain incidents happen in life and it can trigger us in different ways. And especially growing up in Jamaica, I know how it is. When you are a victim of something, you get in trouble, right? They come
You
to
always
you
get
and they say, wait a minute,
that.
what were you doing to get you inside that business, right? But Aleen, your story is so powerful, and I really wanted to touch on this. How did you get involved in track? Like the core reason of it, and what was the outlet that pulled you there, Aleen? Because when you were 10, right, something happened that I'm sure you still got to battle to this day.
I'm getting better at it. Now I'm getting better at it. I have my friends that I talk to about stuff whenever I hit like a rough spot. And then I have a therapist that I talk to whenever I hit a rough spot. But Track for me was anger management. When I was 10, like, we had, it's like a farming community. So my
Yes.
mom dropped me off at the neighbor, and then it started raining. So we had to go inside. But
And it
I was
rained
like,
hard in Jamaica. Two people don't know it rained
yeah.
hard in Jamaica.
But I was like, I was this big around. So they always tell me, always have somebody with you because you're still little, you're easy to take away. so, so we had to go into the house, but I guess they had like a family member that I didn't know that was visiting. And when the rain finished and we were all running out, I got pulled back. And like I was sexually assaulted, but and then one of the kids it started, but they couldn't go any further because they were trying to, but I guess because I was like a little kid, there's no way for a grown man to fit there. So,
Yeah.
but one of the kids run back in and say, Yannick, and it distracted him. So I got to get away. So, and then after that, I just became this angry little girl because I couldn't talk to anybody because I just learning now, and I'm old enough. My mom says I could have talked to her, but at the time,
They say that, but at the time,
I didn't know. And my dad was like super strict, and he does belt first before he has a conversation, and it's So I was trying to avoid that, and because I had gotten sick after that, and my mom was bathing me, and the area was my girly parts were like tender. And she was like, "Oh, many times I tell her to not climb the tree," because she thought I was climbing a tree. You know, you climb because coconut tree like coming back down you like slide.
Yes.
It's like, "Oh, many times I tell her not to climb the tree, and see this happened."
Oh, so she thought that happened.
I'm gonna climb the tree again. So that happened, and then I was just violent. That primary school, I was just fighting all the time, every second of the day. A boy look at me the wrong way, fighting. You touch me, we're fighting. So my teacher, Miss Campbell, she was like, "You know what? We need to figure out." So she would, every time she sensed that I was about to get like mad or want to fight, she was like, "Go run." So we had like a big playing field. I was like running laps and all that. And I was like, "Oh, this feels nice." So I kept running laps, and then she was like, "You know what? You're running sports day." So I ran, we did like a cross country, and I was like super fast. So I was always winning and stuff. And she said, "You know what? Let's try track events instead of the long stuff." So I went from like running the 1500. She was like, "Okay, cool." But then I developed asthma. So she dropped. So I got dropped down to the 400, and I was beating the boys, and she was just, "All right, cool." So we had a PE teacher. It's a male teacher that he could travel, but he was like I think he was the only male I was like aggressive with. But he, I guess he had a different vibe.
Yeah.
So she would enter me into things, and then he would take me to my track meets, and I was like running and winning and everything. Just a barefoot girl, just beating everybody. And then I got the opportunity to run in Kingston. First time going to the stadium, become last. And I did, because I didn't have shoes, and the chevron on your foot bottom, like my entire foot bottom burn up. So so that's pretty much was my introduction to track and field, and I loved it. And like the more when I run, I just have this sense of calm and chill, and nothing can bother me. So,
Aleen, thank you for sharing that. Before we get into the track part of it, there was something that you said. You started to take your frustration out on cater it, harness it into track. The next question, for me, when I moved to Canada, right, I moved to Canada for a better life, but the opposite happened. My mom and I actually became homeless in the middle of wintertime. And when I was in that moment, I kind of had a revelation where I understood that nobody is going to come and save me, right? Nobody's going to come and save us. And it was one of those things where I had to treat the situation differently. And when we became homeless, I started to get inside my head where I was thinking, everybody's passing us by and nobody is giving us a bly and saying, you guys need a place to stay, you need this and that. When the situation happened to you, Aleen, you said you trusted that coach, but how difficult was it for you to develop trust, right? Because for me, in that moment, when I was homeless, it took me a while to trust a lot of people because I'm like, all on a see me moving and nobody stopping to do nothing. But you have to develop those things because our traumas stick with us, and it's not easy for us to let go of it and let people in. But for you, Aleen, from a 10-year-old to, a young 25 woman now, how did you navigate through that, trusting people? Because that's not easy to open up to.
Yeah, I think I think my primary school teacher, I don't know if they sent something because I wasn't always like that. I was like they're straight A students. I was like, so they probably and me and those teachers were cool. And they approached the situation different because they were like,
Yeah.
there's something different about you. We don't know what it is. Whenever you're ready to tell us, you will tell us. I never did. But he was all he was my math teacher, and I struggled with, but he was always like, he didn't make me feel stupid.
Mm.
So I guess
Bless his
that's
heart. Bless his
why he
heart.
was so cool. Because I was struggling for a little bit with like schoolwork and stuff, and like he and my teacher, Miss Campbell, like they helped me, and they didn't. Whenever I get in trouble, they didn't always like, because in primary school in Jamaica you can't get beaten,
Easy. Quick with
but but they had different avenues to help me, to keep me out of trouble. I didn't get beatings. They would give me work to do. Like they would assign me like class duties or something like that, and then they would spend time with me to help me understand what it is that they're trying to teach me.
it.
And whenever I got frustrated, they didn't give up. Like they literally like took the time to help me understand everything that I needed to understand in school. And then whenever I get good grades, I get rewarded. And whenever I get bad grade, I didn't get scolded. I was like, okay, we know you can do better than this. So it's just how they were treating me, because they were like older. They pretty much acted like older siblings instead of teachers.
Yes.
And because I had that level of bond with my brothers, that kind of bond with my brothers, I was like, okay, cool. He's kind of like acting just like they would. And him and Miss Campbell, they were like super protective when it comes to me. So that's the reason why I was able to just like trust them with having me do different things, and I didn't always blow up on them. So it's just how you treat a kid, it's how you make them feel like they're somebody and not, just some bad child acting up. And they would find ways to make sure I'm good. So it's good. That's pretty much it.
Aleen, if there's someone who is, struggling for their voice to be heard, right? They something has happened to them, and they really want to tell someone, but they don't know how or what even to say. What is something that you would tell them to maybe make that pathway a little easier for them?
Because I think like you always have that one person that you can talk to about stuff, that will listen and won't judge. There's always that person. And there's like that one friend that's loud and will defend you all the time. So just tell that one friend, and that one friend will sort it out. And then even though they're loud, they won't make it to where you feel embarrassed. Like they will usually, even though they're loud, they're nurtured and they understand you. And they'll find a way to get it out for you. Because a lot of time you can't speak for yourself. Because it's so fresh. But if there's that one person that you can talk to that won't judge you, and then my thing is write. Like you can write, you can put everything on paper, and just, even if you don't want to talk it out, you can put it on paper and just hand it to that person that you can trust and talk to handle it different. I mean, there's ways now. There's people that will listen now, and there's like avenues now. But back then we didn't have that. But now we have different avenues. So there's ways to reach out, and just don't be afraid, man. It's not. And the thing is, a lot of times, like victims don't reach out because they feel like it's their fault and it's something that they did. So they have to have the understanding that it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Like you can't control what other people do, but you can control how you handle the situation. And it's never and don't self-blame. It's hard. It's hard not to self-blame, but just don't self-blame, because it's not your fault. I mean, you're a child,
Yeah.
and adults should know better. So
That's that's beautifully said, Aleen. Thank you for that. Let's talk champs real quick, Aleen, because here's the thing, right? In Jamaica, you develop pressure really early, right? Because you're brought into this environment. You know, champs is arguably one of the most watched high school events, if not the greatest high school events on the planet. Period. You know, I had Julian Fort on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about this as well too. But champs for him and champs for you are two different things, because you kind of were in an era where Jamaican sprinting was starting to become its dominance, right? Aleen, what was that champs experience like in the high school side? Because you know every person in Jamaica thinks their high school is the wickedest high school out there, right? Walk me through that time for you.
Oh God, Jesus, champs, high school. Oh, that was fun. I went to boarding school, so that was fun. And I went to Veritech, which is the best school in Jamaica. You don't know. We produced a bunch of Olympians. The first women 400-meter hurdler, Olympic gold medalists came from Veritech, Dion Hemmings, Marlene Otti.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
she went to Veritech. She was the original. So champs, oh God, the first year of champ was stressful because it's different from primary school champs, because primary school champs is just the parishes, you know. And it's you know, you and people your age, same age. But when you get to high school, you're running class 4, you're running with different with because you get to high school, 12 and 13-year-old running class running, you flip up. But when my first year of high school, I was getting dusted. Tula Robinson was driving me crazy. But and so because she was like a year older, but she was always in the class with me. So the first year in that class, I have to settle for second, and second place was painful. But I kept working hard, and once she gets out of the class, and I start dominating the class. But champs for me was an amazing experience, man. It's just the crowd by itself.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the energy. Like that crowd will make you do unthinkable things.
It's like a
You
mini
can,
Olympics.
yeah, it's like a mini Olympics. And the crowd and the vibes, and then half of the kids are people you know because you've been running them through the season, and it's just an amazing experience, and I was just having fun because it's just you just have fun and you compete with your friends, and at the end of the day, your school win, your school don't win, your school might not win, but your friend's school win.
You have to
And
support them and
yes, so you
take,
have to
yeah,
support
yeah.
them. And then you have your family there going crazy. And then when you win a race that you weren't expected, because they have like champs preview and they say who gonna win, and when you beat the person that is, it's just a different vibes and energy for you being able to achieve that, because champs is rough. To make it to champs is an accomplishment. To make it to the finals is an accomplishment. To place in the top 3 is an accomplishment. So champ was just an amazing experience, and I enjoyed every single part of it. And I wish everybody in the world could experience that, man. I've been trying to tell my high school kids here that I wish I could take them to boys and girls champs to experience that. It would be so much fun.
Aleen, you know, a lot of people know that you went to USC, University of Southern South Carolina first, right? But this is where you and I come in, and we have this similarity, right? Barton Community College, right? Because well, when you went there, it was, you know, BCCC, but when I got there, they took off a C, you know, so we got 3 C's. Right? But before we talk about that part, Aleen, I want to talk about the process of picking a school, right? Certain things happen. I know for me, one of the maths that I took in the 9th grade, the NCAA didn't accept anymore my year, so I was automatically ruled ineligible. So rather than sit at home, I decided to go to junior college, right? But for a lot of people nowadays, especially in the process of picking a school, a lot of kids nowadays pick a school based on the name. They don't pick a school based on if it's the right program for them, right? They say, this is Southern California, Alabama, I want to go there because of the name. And then you get there and you realize, oh, geez, I made a bad mistake. Yeah. Walk me through your process of picking the school and going to the right school that was best for you? Maybe something happened, because nobody wants to necessarily go to junior college, right? Something happens, but you take that route. But walk me through that picking stage for you.
So I was like a little rebel in high school because I was still dealing with anger issues. So I didn't start applying myself until my sophomore year in high school. Because my best friend Soyini showed up and she literally whooped me into shape. Like she beat me up.
Oh, she draped you up.
She draped me up 2 times. She's like, you have potential. Why are you wasting your time? Da da da. Okay, we have study session. And then I had Timothy Spencer. Like now he's pretty much my dad. His company started sponsoring me. So they were paying for school, paying my uniform, making sure I'm functioning right and I have all the necessary things I need. So I had to, straighten up and behave myself. So I started studying, but I didn't hit the grades that I needed to have to get into a 4-year scholarship. So that's where, and then Barton County, previous athlete that went to Vertech. So like, so a bunch of Vertech athletes were there because Natalie Sterling, her and I went to Ver, so she was there already. Beverly McDonald, that's where she went, and Coach Brahman was the coach then, and he was well known, and he doesn't play around. And he's Mr. Spencer was more inclined into getting me into a school which will focus on my academics and not just throwing me some random waist class. So that's how Barton came up. So I ended up in Kansas.
Whenever if whenever I try, whenever I go and speak or I tell kids or they advise me on what schools to go to, I try and explain to them my experience before I went to the University of Alabama. I went to Barton Community College, right? First and foremost, a Great Bend, Kansas doesn't sound anything exciting. And
Buffalo Farm.
It's and I try to explain it to people, right? It's like they just dropped a school right in the middle of some forest and some fields and some dirt roads and some and it's tough, right? But you have to be in a disciplined state because you can get lost and forget why you went there in the first place, because you can get so focused on there's nothing to do, there's no entertainment, and you cause trouble among yourself. Aleen, when you weren't on the track there, because Barton had a bunch of sprinters, even when I went there, a stable of sprinters who went on to be Olympians and done really well. But what was that time like for you, Aleen? How did you stay focused, and what did you have to do to keep yourself focused? Because it's so easy to get distracted there because there's nothing to do.
Number 1 and number 2, I was afraid of Saini and Spenno. They're scary. So I was literally afraid to fail because I was literally afraid of what Saini and Spenno would do to me because they crazy. So, but they love me though. And I know that they wanted the best for me. And because they've invested so much in me, I had to stay focused. And then I'm like the first person in my family to go to college. I can't feel like that. I can't feel like that. And then there was like a bunch of Jamaicans and Caribbean athletes there. And like, we were like, you know what? Because we had this similar backgrounds. Our parents weren't rich, we didn't have money, and our thing was like, this is our come up. This is how we're gonna get our family out of poverty. Buy my mother this house and all of that stuff. So my goal was just to like make sure I'm there for a specific reason. So I have to focus on that. And like there's so many people like that has invested in me that I have to make sure I make them proud. So I just buckled down. I studied. I went to track practice when Coach Brahman used to just shovel out lane 1 when it snowed, and we jogged out from the basketball, run the 300 or 600, then jog back in. I made sure I had on like 10 million clothes. So, I mean, and then school, I made sure I did what I had to do and what I'm supposed to do. And then, just did that. It's just like you have, it's just a different mindset when you have when you have a whole lot relying on you, and you know
Hmm.
you were given an opportunity, you can't mess that up. And
It's
you get
funny
to
you
school for
said
free.
it's funny when you said, you have to warm up in the gym and then coach would shovel a lane, right? I remember one time when I got there, right? It snowed overnight. So snowed so much we couldn't even get out the dorm. So for me, I'm just like, yo, I'm just gonna stay inside and hold the vibes and just chill, right? And so school is shut down, but our coach calls us and says, yo, I'm coming to get you. I'm like, coach, we talked about coming to get who? Regin, come and get who? And he
No problem.
comes and they shovel out the snow
Yeah.
and they shovel out a pathway to the gym and they shuttle out lane 5 and 6 and we had to do a full session. I'm like, coach, that doesn't make any type of sense, right? But these are all things that, as you said it, I'm like, okay, the same thing happened to you, same thing happened to us.
Yeah. So I mean, you build a level of toughness, man,
You
and I
have
think
to.
that's why. And I think based on that, that's why we became Olympians. That's why we graduated with the degree that we graduated. That's why we are who we are right now. Because like everything was like work
Hmm.
from you were a kid straight up to college. Like everything was work, and you literally. Because well, you were in Canada, so you kind of got used because you kind of have the understanding of the
Never
snow
used
thing.
to
You
it.
never
No.
you never get
Still.
used to the snow.
No, no,
So
no,
I
no.
came directly from Jamaica, so the snow thing was not, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you have to adapt to your environment. That's why I tell people I'm a chameleon. I adapt to my environment,
Mm.
because you have to learn to function where you are at the time, and you can't just come here and be like, oh God, it's snowing, we can't do it.
You
You
don't have a
just have to.
choice. You have to.
You
You
don't
have
have a
to
choice.
roll with it. University of South Carolina. Why did you pick there? Right, because you were running well there. You were running well at Barton. The whole squad was running well at Barton, and so you get into this notion of again, okay, wow, I'm a top recruit again. How do I pick the right school? Why did you pick there?
Okay, so all of the schools that I visited, they were telling me how many Olympians they had, you know, how many championship they
Yeah.
won, and yada yada yada. And the first thing Coach Fry said to me, my team GPA is a 3.0.
Wow.
You will not mess up my GPA.
Mm.
You are a student first. I was like, okay, cool. I feel you. I understand. I'm getting good grades. You know, I got to keep it like a 2.9
Yeah,
ish.
yeah. Just on the cusp.
Yeah. So he was like, and he was telling me about all his athletes that graduated that are like doctors and
Mm.
lawyers and this and that. And then he was like, and oh, yes, we have a few Olympians from, because two Jamaicans went there, Marvin Watts and Charmaine Owell. So I
Mm.
know both of them from track. And then he was like, Jamaicans are here, went here, and I had a few. So he gave me the educational part. He was like, you will graduate. Because that was his thing. You will graduate, and you're. I will. I have. He has two daughters, and he was like, you will be treated as if you're one of them. So
Wow.
you're gonna get the same talking to. You're gonna get the same lecture, everything. But my grade GPA is the thing, and I don't know how he knew my mom was like an evangelist, and he was like, and we do go to church
Oh,
and
wow.
on
Oh,
Sundays.
you had no
It's an
choice.
option, but
The Holy
but
Spirit was in the decision. You had no choice.
yeah. So when I told my mom that he was deacon, she was like, okay, cool. We like him. Because I told her about all the visit. And then when I told her Coach Fry is a deacon and his wife, is a part of the church, she was like, okay, so we're going to that school. So, um, but for me, the academic part got me with Coach Fry. Like him telling me that the most important thing for me is for you to graduate. If you fail a class, I will pull you off this track.
Wow. It's funny.
And
You
he did.
don't. Yeah. And the reason why, I find that always interesting is because even when you say it, I was talking about this the other day, I only had one coach that said that to me. So I think it's important to understand and remember that like track has an expiration date. You can't do it forever.
Yes.
Whatever sport that you do, your body's not going to hold up every single year. But certain things, when a coach and you're thinking about your process of picking the right school, just listen to what they say. you know,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you what their main motive is,
Yeah,
right?
they
And I
were.
think, yeah, so it was just great that you said that. I think that's always needed to hear. So transition, Aleen, when you actually got to the school, right? There's a whole bunch of things that you got to get used to. I know for me, you were just talking about GPA. I had a 3.1 going to Alabama, and it fell because
Oh yeah, the first year rough.
I wasn't used to this. First of all, Barton has like 800 kids, and so
Yeah.
you go to a school whereas there's like 25,000 people here, and you go to class and there's 400 people here, and
Yeah.
you have SECs on Sunday, but you're leaving on like Tuesday, and you're missing the
Yeah.
whole class, and you're stressing because you're like, yo, what if they're not gonna make me make up the test?
And some of those professors won't.
Because they think you're already spoiled.
Yeah.
Aleen, walk me through that transition, just not even from a sporting background, but just like from an everyday way of living, because it's different. There's so much things happening on campus. How did you navigate through it? How did you find balance?
Yeah. I had Saini. She's the master of schedules.
You need that. You need that.
So she's the master of schedule. So I had and I didn't really like going out, but I guess because I needed to bond with the kids, so I had to go out. So I go out every once in a while. And she was like, it's okay to go out, but make sure you're studying. And then half of the time, I was on the phone with her, like helping because she's the brains of the operation. So she would help. I would, like, if I write a paper, I will like go through it with her, and she proofread it, and she makes sure everything is up to par. And she helps me study. And then we also had, like, once your first year at university, you have to be at study hall.
Yes.
So I was at study hall, but my first semester was rough because I decided to take chemistry and algebra
At the same
together.
time?
Yeah.
Mm.
So my chemistry and my algebra formulas were mixing up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I failed my chemistry class, and Coach Fry was not happy with it. Yeah. So I had to get a tutor. So I got a tutor. Chemistry was already failed. So I had to go to summer school. So I had to I barely passed algebra with a C. And
Pass is a pass.
I passed it a pass. And then the next semester, like after that, I was going through like tutoring session, but I wasn't getting the chemistry part. And I guess it's because chemistry and algebra, the formulas are the same. So I was just like, my brain, maybe I had some brain thing going on that I would mix them up. But I decided that the summer I had a tutor. I was getting tutors for everything. Even if I wasn't failing, I was getting tutors for everything.
Mm.
I was talking to my professors all the time, because at first I wasn't communicating with them. And then they will have office hours, and I would go and they will slow it down for me, because when they're teaching 400 kids, you just gotta it's just fast.
Just another body, yeah.
Yeah, because then at Barton it was so small that you're able, and your teacher walks around and help you. But when you go into a classroom with, like, it's like an auditorium, and you're like lost in it. So I became familiar with all my professors, and if I needed like a 1 point to get a specific grade, I would do extra credit and get that done. But I had a plan. I had times when I studied, and then we have our practice schedule. So we go to practice. Usually if I usually get there early. If I'm waiting for the team to show up, I like to read over my notes, study. So every time I was studying. And so that's helped me. And then it's just having somebody to keep you accountable. Because Saini always checks in. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Doing that. Spend out, check in. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? Make sure you're doing your schoolwork. Make sure you're not getting into trouble. Make sure you're not doing this and this and that. So, and then I really didn't go out a lot, to just every once in a while, because every time I went out with my teammates, there was always a fight.
Jesus, I know that's right.
Because the track girls look regular during the week, but then on the weekend they look like a totally different person. So there's always a fight, because they're getting all the attention. So there's always a fight. So I was like, I can't function like this. So I go out every once in a while.
And in 2003, a lot of things came in tune for you. A lot of things line up, right? Um, Going into that year, you were not the favorite to win anything on that track, because the favorite actually to win was my old training partner when I turned pro, Moon Ali.
Yes.
But walk me through that year for you, right? Because remember when you were at Barton College, you said, I have to stay focused because this is going to be the way to help not only myself, but my family. Going into that year, right? Obviously, every year, you have to believe it's going to be your year. You have to believe it's going to be the year that everything unfolds and all the hard work and everything sacrifices, it all pays off. But what you said in Barton, this is going to be the pathway for it. What was going into that year like for you? Because you surprised a lot of people. Did you surprise yourself?
No, because I was mad. I was mad from 2002.
Okay.
Even though
Okay.
we won the championship, I got disqualified out of the 200. And I was crying like a baby, and the video man just followed me the entire way. And I was just crying. I was like, I was mad, and I was like, if we lose a championship, it's my fault.
Mm.
And Coach Rice said, like, no, babe, it's you're okay. Just go back in this 200. You're not expected to place in this 200. Make the finals for me, and just do what you gotta do. So 2002, I got second in the 200, and 2013, 2003, before the season started, Coach Fry and I sat down. And I was like, yeah, about that. Yeah, I got to sort this out. But the craziest thing is that I kept getting hurt every time. Like indoors,
Mm.
I was running with like a toe injury because I had a stress fracture. I had to wear a cast like after the summer 2002 summer. I had to wear a cast, so I was in a cast for that entire time. So I wasn't able to train how I wanted to. And then 2003 season start. I was like, Coach Fry, I don't know what's going. It's like he was like, "Do be patient, babe. We'll get to where we need to go. We'll run these 400s for me every once. We'll run these 400s,
Mhm.
and we're gonna get you in shape. And I just want you to not lose focus, and I just don't want you to get mentally out of it. Just stay in it." And every track meets, I was like, Coach Fry, man, I keep coming, behind everybody, and he's like, no, be patient. We're working on it. You're gonna be fine. Just keep running these 400. And I was just working and working and working, and I just kept working. And then at regionals, I won the 1 and the 2, and then in the 4. But when I knew I had heart and could do it, was when Coach Fry put me on the 4x4 at regionals, and we were on. I had to run the ankle leg, and we were
Mm.
told the entire team was told to just run to finish. But the third leg runner decided that she wanted to blow past everybody and left me on the ankle leg with Dee Dee Trotter and Novelyn Mills chasing
Oh,
me.
jeez. Jeez, 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 jeez. Jeez.
So so I had to hold off them two big ass that I had to
Yes.
I was running and you could hear them breathing down my neck. And once with Coach Fry, once you're given the stick in the lead, you have to stay in the lead. And I was like, after I ran, I don't even know where cause I was looking at Coach Fry and he was like, just run to me.
Mm.
So that last 100, I don't even know how I finished it. I just ran to Coach Fry, and the next thing I knew, I woke up on the bus. And everybody was like, girl, Ray, you did good. And I was like, huh? Huh?
Can't feel
And they was like,
nothing.
we're so proud of you. Da 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 da, and all of that stuff. And Coach Fry is funny. And he was like, girl, you just ran and you just passed out.
Mm.
So that was when I realized that I was capable of just doing what it is. That's when I realized that, okay, I am where I need to be. And a 400 got me to realize that, like, I'm strong enough, I'm strong, I'm fast, and I'm fit. So when it came to NCs, they were just irritating me the entire time because all they were talking about was Mona Lee and Mona
Yeah.
Lee and Mona Lee and Erica, and because Erica went to my school. And I was like, even after I ran my semis and I did well, it was just, they just like, it's just,
Forgot about you. Yeah.
They don't exist. And then I love Mona. I love Mona Lee to death. But after the semis, Mona Lee did the exam. I think her interview, she was like, I am ready. There's nobody out here, to challenge me. And I was like, I love you, but I'm about to beat you. And my start is horrible. I was like, Coach Fry, we gonna meditate, we gonna figure it out. We gonna meditate, we gonna do block start until I am blue in the face. Like right before the finals, I was meditating, zenning out. I was doing stars, and I was like nervous, and Coach Fry was like, we have to figure out something out to get you calm. Hence the whole, I used to dance a lot when I was in high. I used to have something, but hence the whole shadow boxing showed up. He was like, I do bad. Just, fight. Just fight your way through it. He was like, so just go to the line, take a deep breath, and box. So I was like at the line, and then he was like, what's your favorite song? And I was like, Bob Marley, Could You Be Loved? And there's like a part that says only the fittest of the fittest shall survive, stay alive. And then Coach Stan bought me Beanie Babies whenever I'm nervous. I have a whole collection of Beanie Babies. And Coach Rosenthal was like, just, like I had it in my bag when I'm walking out to track. So I was like rubbing the Beanie Babies to calm me down. And I couldn't run with the Beanie Babies. So I had to put it in the bag. So then the shadow boxing came and it kept me calm. And the funniest thing is because I'm doing that, everybody's distracted and focusing on me and my foolishness. What is she doing? So when that gun went, I just went beast mode. When I won, I was super happy. And Coach Fry was there again, and he was like, "Good job, thank you." Because we were trying to win NCs back to back. So I was like, "Coach, I got you. I'm giving you this 20 points. I'm getting you this 20 points. The rest of the people can figure it out."
But I'm getting this.
And I won the 100, and I was like, "What? Well, this feels nice. Let's try this again." And the 200 came, and the 200, like the last part, my body was like, "Girl, we tired." And then I flashed back to that 4x4 that I found I found that extra, because Mona Lee would not give up, man. I love that. That's what I love about her. She would not give up. No. So I had to find that extra push, and I won the double, and it was just like an amazing feeling, because I was like the second person in NCAA history to ever do that. And that was like an amazing, when Coach Fry was like, "Dude, do you know what you just did?" And I was trying to get 3 gold medal, but LSU 4x1 was just stronger.
But you was coming though. You was coming. You was coming. It just ran out of real estate.
Yeah, a little bit. Because my third leg, she took too long to get me the stick. But we did well, and I was happy. And we didn't win the championship, but I accomplished something that I never thought I would accomplish. And that was just because of pure heart and determination and hard work, and at 400. But I understood why Coach Fry was making me run all of those 4x4s, even though I hated them. And I understood why. Because I think he knew that it's gonna come down to like pure heart and mental toughness for the last part of each of my races, to just fight through it and not give up. And that was him. He found ways to make you mentally and physically tough, and I truly appreciate him for that. He was just always so encouraging. And even though I wasn't running well the entire season, he never allowed me to like quit or give up on myself. And because he kept saying, "Dude, you were hurt. Yeah. Half of the time you were in the training room, so you just have to be patient." And I stayed patient, and it paid off. So
Aleen, you said something that really stuck out to me, and I think is important for everybody in a high performing state, whether you're not playing sport or you are playing sport. The ability to stay calm in a way that's authentic to yourself, right? Because here you were shadowboxing before the line, right? Because a lot of people, they're thinking, I have to stay focused, I have to be locked in, and you become serious, and you become this person who is not you. What would you say to someone, Aleen, who isn't quite sure how to cope with pressure, that's trying to find their own calmness? What is something that you would say to them? Maybe they don't know how to handle pressure, but they're looking for a way to get within themselves. What was something you would say to them?
I mean, it's kind of like go back. Do you remember when you were kids and you were like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you and I'm beat you and beat you. Just have that state. It's the same energy and vibe. So just go back to that state where, you felt like you were invincible. And if you have, because like with my track kids, like now I tell them, what's your favorite song? Or what's the thing that makes you happy? What's one moment in your life that makes you just super happy?
Mm,
And I was like, pick that moment and just work with it. Pick that song. And when you get on the line, just play that in your head
mm,
the entire time. If it's like a funny moment between you and your sibling, you just chill and be at the laugh and line and just laugh it because people gonna think you're crazy. But it's your thing.
yeah.
And if it keeps you calm, that's what you need to do. Just find that one thing that makes you happy and just focus on that. And then for me, it was just like my shadowboxing and Bob Marley definitely keep me calm. Bob Marley always kept me calm.
Mm,
So I challenge, just find that one thing and you'll be surprised of what it is that you can do. And I'm I'm introducing yoga to we're introducing yoga and meditation this year to my high school track kids because I feel that it will help them a lot just to meditate. And because I learned from Coach Fry, we usually do visualization day before our races because he would have us like run through every single scenario on your marks. We even had like false start implemented in our visualization in case somebody false start. So we reset and do that. But just find that one thing that makes you happy and calm. Just zone into it once you're at the line. And once the starter says, on your marks, after that, there's two commands, set the gun, and just go. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about anybody next to you. It's just you and the track. And it's so funny, like every once in a while, I line up with my kids and and when we go to the track meet, and he was like, Coach, I'm nervous. I was like, just pretend this me and you racing at practice.
mm.
And one of my kids was like, yo, Coach, I tried it. And
It worked.
it worked. I was like, okay, cool. So yeah. And you beat an Olympian a couple of times, just
Hmm.
go out there on the track, you beat an Olympian for about 20 meters, and it's so cool seeing them do that. And they love showing. They're like, oh yeah, we run with our coach and she's an Olympian and we beat her. So we
Momentum,
we're
confidence brewing. You know,
so,
the success that you had in 2003, the next year is an Olympic year, right? Obviously, this is, if you're an amateur athlete, especially in track and field, the whole country is watching the Olympics because they don't think anything else exists, or that there's no other season but this time. But this was different for Jamaica, I think, right? What was leading up to the trials like? And I'm not even talking about you making the team yet, but leading up to the trials, right? Because you're probably going back home. Now people know the name, right? Because when you win NCAA's, people don't just see USC; they see all of Jamaica.
yeah.
I see, they're seeing the flag. But did anything feel different going into that year, right? Because again, you're going back to the favorite, who is Veronica Campbell, to win the whole thing, right? What was that like, Aleen? Because again, this is a different type of pressure. It's the same people, but it's a different type of pressure. Walk me through leading up to Olympic trials that year.
I mean, for me, it was going home and being with my family, and I get to eat a patty and some jerk chicken, and I was just going home
Mm,
pretty much. And then the national stadium for me was home. So I went back into it. It took me back to like high school,
mm,
boys and girls champs, and And that's where my head was. I was like, I'm home. I'm back in my stadium. I just have to stay focused, stay calm, do what it is that I have to do. And if it's in God's plan, then yeah. And if not, then So I just went out there, went to see my mom, chill with her for a bit. Um, saw my family, Mr. Spencer, and they were expecting their first baby. So it was like an exciting moment. So
Yeah.
I literally was not focused on the trials. I was just home and enjoying my family. And then, just going around doing everything that I would do at home. But I still had to practice. But I was practicing. I practiced with Coach Mills and the group. And then, because I know them from high school. And that's pretty much was it. I was just home. And I just went into the trials and just ran and made the team. And I was just super happy because everybody I was running with Veronica and I went to high school. So it's like the crew was just back together, for trials. And yeah, Veronica and I went to high school. Sharon, we ran together 2003. And then it's just family. You're just with your family because we've known everybody since high school. So it's just like hanging out with your friends and it's like just chilling and racing because we weren't like everybody was in the back warming up and chatting and just
Laughing and
chilling and laughing and all of that good stuff. So, it was good.
it felt familiar, so it really
Felt
was
familiar.
nothing
Yeah.
big. So, Aleen, when you got there, right? Because even though it was a great moment, there was still that bittersweet aspect of it in the 200 for you, and you can and I
That's
want you
right, Logan.
to and I want you to walk me through that. But when you get there, I know for me, it was two different experiences, right? In 2012, I was the young guy who just got there. It was like, oh wow, all these different things, all these people. But in 2016, I was 4 years older, and it was more of, okay, I've been here before. Now it's time to make sure that I leave everything on the track here. When you got there, what was that initial experience like, right? Because again, coming from Barton Community College, right? You go to South Carolina, you're the champ there, and now you're going to your first Olympic Games, but it's different, right? Because Jamaica always has immediate expectations to do well. What
Yes.
was that? What was that like for you? How were you keeping calm in that Olympic chaos?
Oh God. I think what kept me calm was like I was so I was like excited about Anna, my mentor, Mr. Spencer. It's like this baby. I was like, okay, I gotta get through this Olympics. I gotta win, and then I go home and she's gonna be born, and then all of that cool stuff. And I just
Wow.
chill because that's all I talked about the entire time. And the vibe there was just great. Like we just gelled. We did everything. Like we did training camp. We did every single thing together. The vibe was just different. So it wasn't like us being stressed that there's like so much expectations. And Coach Mills was our coach back then, and he was like chill, like yes,
Calm.
ladies, we're going to get this done. We just have to figure out how to get this reading. So we're gonna train everybody in different positions. And don't stress and don't worry. Once we get there, we'll figure it out. And and I think having him, and because he was so chill, like we were chilled as well. And we were just, it was like a party, man. Puma had like a big party for us. So it was like a big party. Like that was like a big party for us. And then when we got to the village, Merlin spent the entire time with us, man. And that was like that was like a moment that we will like just carry with us for a long time because we're like, dude, yeah, you're like Merlin. You're just
Legend.
here. You're just here. You're just here chilling with us and telling us that we're gonna do well and we're capable of doing this, and we're looking at you like, lady, it's the Olympics. But
Pressure. Yeah.
she was just like lit. But because she's been there and experienced it, She was like, don't add too much pressure to yourself. And I was like, okay, cool. Marlene told us just to chill and just have fun and enjoy the moment. It's your first Olympic. Just enjoy the moment. That you've trained hard, you did the mental preparation, the physical preparation. Don't stress about anything. And I was like, and then we just had like a bonding experience with everybody. We were like so close. The relay team, and it's me, Sharon, and Veronica. We ran the 100, and we were just like, we had just like a special bond, and that, I think that helped us through it, because we were making sure each other was okay. We were doing this, and Sharon and Tanya are super girly, so they were girlifying us, which was funny and entertaining. So they made it, because we had to get our paint, nail polish, they plucked my eyebrows, which was painful, and you got to look good, because they already they already had it that we won, or like even our individual event. Tana and Sharon was just preparing us for like the podium, because we make sure you look good at all times, and da 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 da. So it was just fun. It was just like a bunch of siblings just chilling and doing random crazy stuff. And we went to eat together. We slept because we lived in the same apartment, so we ate together. We went to bed at the same time. We had to force Veronica to take ice baths. She hated it. So all of us had to do it together. So we all had to get in order for her to do it. And so it was just it's like just a bunch of siblings just chilling. It was just so easy for us. And we just went out there and did our best. And even though we didn't win 1, 2, 3 in the 100, Veronica won the bronze medal in the 100. I got 5th. Sharon got 6th. 5th is way better. And then then Veronica won the 200, and I got 4th. Yeah, but Veronica winning was like, I was super proud, and I felt like I won as well, because she went to Vera. Yeah, she went to Vera, said medal was mine too. So I claimed the medal. But it was fun. It was like a wonderful experience, my first Olympic experience. And we had fun because Karen was there. Nobody knew Karen was there at the 2004 Olympics, but she was like our little shadow. And she was young, and she was like our little shadow. So she did everything with us. Like, she trained with us. She did everything with us. And I remember dragging her on the stage at one of the party and forcing her to dance. Poor baby. But that was how it was. It was like a whole family thing, and we were just having fun and enjoying the whole process. And we did really well. And that's my most treasured experience in my track and field career. So,
Aleen, I have to ask, because the celebration thing was different when we got our medal from Canada, right? I felt like I was getting celebrated more in Jamaica than I was back here, right? So
we still saying it.
So when you went back, and you got to show it to the family, right? You got to show it to all of the people that helped you get to where, you are today. I remember watching an interview a while back, and many people don't know that one of your brothers is Capleton, right? And he was saying how he was proud of you and all these different things. What was that experience like, Aleen? Because, man, you traveled a journey to even get to that level, let alone be able to come back. Because now you can show the youth them, like, look, if I did it, you can do it too. Because I think that experience alone, when you're able to look back and reflect and say, you know what? I showed hope from a place that didn't seem like I could be hope. What was that? What was that like when you got to be there? When you got to bring it back?
God, being home was just different. Well, it was just regular. My mom still treated me like I was a regular Yanni. Well, yeah. So my nickname in my parish is Yanni. So when I went back, and I was like, "Oh, Yanni, we're proud of you, but don't get too big on yourself." And then the one little old lady said, "No matter how big you is, mistake, you beat you. Don't get too Well, like say you better know where you come from. Like,
Yes.
no, I would never, no, never do that. But I was like, for my family, it was just, I was just regular alien back. Like, and I had a medal. My brother, who is a musician, but he's Capleton, because he's used to that type of excitement. He was way more excited than with the family. Because now, but for me, I was super excited because I was Aleen Bailey and not Capleton's
And
sister
sister.
anymore. That was the best part. So now he was Aleen Bailey's brother. But it was fun though. He made a song and I loved it. So I have a song. My brother made me a song, you know. Who can say that them have song?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Shelly can say she have one.
Different time.
But
Different time. You were the original.
yeah.
You were the original still.
But then when we came home and they had us on a float from the airport and we went through Kingston and the fact that there were so many people just like so happy to see us, and it was just like a celebration, and you sign an autograph and little kids and you're like, yo, can't believe Alien from St. Mary has all of this. And it was just an amazing experience, just being able to go back home and bring so much joy to your country and your family. And then now my mom is like famous, you know, and all of that stuff. Because our baby famous.
Yeah.
And then it was fun watching her. Because my dad, my dad, he wasn't in the whole, he wasn't like the whole, my mom hated the camera and stuff, but when I saw her like came out of her show and like doing interviews and stuff like that, I was like, oh, cool. And I was happy that she was like, you know, enjoying the fruit of her labor, because,
Yes.
you know, she was the reason why I was here. And the craziest thing is, this is one thing I don't think a lot of people know, but I wasn't supposed to be, well, I guess I was supposed to be born, but my mom had her tubes tied
Oh
before.
wow. So you're the miracle
So I'm
baby.
like her miracle child.
Wow. Wow. That's no coincidence. Mm-mm.
No, so just for her to be like, for me, that she wasn't expecting like another kid, and then for me to be born, and so she's like enjoying like I'm like the light of her life, and
Wow.
to see
Wow.
how happy she is. I mean, she loves all her kids, but
Of
I'm her
course.
favorite.
Aileen,
But it's just been, the experience was just amazing, and was able to touch so many, because when I moved back to Jamaica, so I was able to go to schools and different schools and all of that stuff, and I went to the schools. So like I didn't go to all like the Jamaica have them Ivy League school, and then so I went to all the inner city schools. And it was so funny when I walk into the school and the kids are like, "What you doing here?" Like, I came to hang out with y'all.
I came to see you. What do you
What you mean? I came to see you. Like, what? So like they were like, people like you don't come to them places here.
Wow,
I was
wow,
like,
wow.
wow.
Mm.
Because I was like, but because I did my research, so I know that there's like a bunch of nerds at the school too. I was like, but your head girl have 10 subjects. So now act like son in the sense. She's like,
Yeah.
they're like, what? I was like, all of you are smart. And then when I told them like where I came from, they was like, no. It's
Wow.
like, and that's the part that brings me joy, because half of these kids think I'm just you just wake up one day and you're an Olympian and you get all of this stuff,
It
and
just
you
happened.
came from a good background, and you're but when they can relate to you, and the teachers, like, after every school I left, like there was like a change in the school. Like the teacher was like, Miss Bailey, I gave your number to the principal at this school because, because you come in here, the kids are like, their mindset is different and they want to be this. And because I didn't just focus on like track and field, I was like pointing at the kids and, hey, I'm gonna need a lawyer in the next 20 years. So you need to sort yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were like looking at me like, what, me? I was like, yeah, you. It's like, oh, cool. So then I was just going to the schools like inner city high school, just talking to the kids, and it was amazing when the head girl was like, "So," I was like, "Yeah, I did my research on you. You
I
have
know
me
who
as a
you
kid.
are.
I know who you are." She's like, "What? You know who I am?" Like, yeah. And that alone gives them like a different edge, because when you know who, when you when you pick a kid, I'm like, yeah, she know who I was. It gives them a different sense of being, and they feel like they're somebody and they're valued. So that was my thing from the 2000, being able to just be like an inspiration to my country, and kids who think that based on where they live, they can become that. And which is why I am so happy that Shelly is from Waterhouse. It's just like a different, like, oh, okay, cool. So you see,
Mm.
there's always diamond in the road somewhere. So it doesn't have to, your location, your address don't have anything to. But 2004 gave me that.
Yeah, yeah, wow. Miracle baby, that's because I always say, I think I'm a firm believer that hope needs to be seen and shown. It has to be a complete package. And that's what you've been able to do in so many different ways, because there's so much depth to you as a person, the survivor, the athlete who had to fight their way to get to where they are, the miracle baby. It's all of these different things that, like, you are hope, and I hope that's something that you never forget. But Aleen, we got to go through the top five, the fun five, the last five questions, gauntlet style. Shouldn't be too hard, shouldn't be too taxing. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Aleen, if you were trapped on a deserted island for a week and you could only bring three things, what three things would you bring?
And the things be persons,
Okay, we can throw it in there. We can throw it in there.
I definitely need my mother. Mother, I
Yeah.
forgot everywhere. No, but so I three things. Oh Jesus. I would need a book because I have to read. At least I have something to do. A book, a knife, because there better be a coconut tree on that island.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You
And,
have
and,
to, you
and
have
I
to
need a knife to make sure I can like catch some fish and scrape it and cook some food.
scale it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And some jerk seasoning.
Just for the fish.
Jerk seasoning for the fish.
Question two, I believe in self-care, right? It's one of the most things that we know is important, but often gets neglected. What is one thing that you have to do for yourself every day?
One thing I have to do for myself is take time to breathe.
Hmm.
Take a deep breath and breathe.
Hmm.
And I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Gym is like gym. If I don't get to go to the gym, I'll go out. Like this morning, I didn't feel like going to the gym, so I just went and go for a walk. So self care is like
Something
breathe,
active. Mhm.
something active. Go for a walk, gym, run. That's
The great musician Capleton, right? You for years you've been Capleton's baby sister, and now Capleton's lucky to have you. You can show up with you, right? So, but people see him in one light. Aleen, is there a story, right, that shows the side that people don't see that you guys have had, right? Maybe it's him, drinking, drinking, drinking a coconut juice or coconut water or something like that. What was a memory that stuck out for your relationship with him?
oh God, there's so many, but the one was when I went to Sting with him, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm not supposed to go into the crowd. I'm not allowed to go in the crowd, but I can't watch Capleton from backstage. So I snuck into the crowd, and I was just watching him perform, and it was just like art.
Mm.
It's just like art in motion. And I was watching him, and I watching the crowd react to him, and it was just like it was it was just like art. It's just like a vibe, and the way how everybody's so like zoned into him, and he's just performing. I was like, dude, that's my brother. Like, what?
Mm.
This is fun. I loved going to shows with him. Like going to show with him. And then like whenever I'm dating somebody, he turns into Killer Moore.
He has a flashback.
Yeah, he turns into Killer Moore. I think a lot of I think I've lost a lot of relationship because of like him, because he's like mean mugging, like, as my baby sister. But we have like a love hate relationship. Every sibling have
Yeah.
sometimes I love him, sometimes I want to strangle him. But but it's just those moments, like going to concerts with him. I love those moments just to see him perform, because I don't know where he get all that energy
The
from.
energy,
I'm like,
yes.
he's 50, no, he's about to be 60. And I watched him perform, and he still had, I'm like trying to figure out where he getting all that energy, because I need some. But it's just,
I'm like, Brendan, your knees are prosperous.
but he's just like a regular, like big overprotective big brother who loves his siblings, and um, just there, just me watching him perform. Those are like moments, and just having like brother and sister conversation about
Yeah.
different things, life and boys and people I'm trying to date. Is like, no, you can't date that one. No, no. So that's good. That's it.
Aleen, mentorship has been one of the themes from your story so far. You had people who could see something bigger for you, even if you couldn't see it in that initial moment. Aleen, if you could sit down and have a few uninterrupted hours with 5 people, it could be past and present, who would those 5 people be?
Oh God, uninterrupted conversation. So let's go pick Coach Houghton from my high school. He was cool. He was cool. My primary school teacher, Miss Campbell. My mom, definitely. Timothy Spencer. Uh, who did it? 5. So hold on.
That's 4. One more.
One more. I guess my best friend Saini, because she came into my life when I needed direction and structure. So all of those people like kept me grounded, when I needed direction and structure. So.
A lot of things has happened to you over the years, a lot of things you had to overcome, a lot of things, that made you the woman that you are today. And we're all still trying to grow in different areas of our lives, Aleen, but if there was one word to describe yourself, right, what would that one word be? And give me a little context behind why that one word.
I would say overcomer. Because I've had to like overcome like a bunch of struggles to get to where I am. And from when I was 10 and I was sexually abused to not having anything, to be surviving off just bare minimum, to to be the first person in my family to get to college, and there's always kickbacks, because I remember like when I had a rough year and people were like, you need to retire, you're old and pop down, da, 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 da. So being able to overcome those struggles and situations, like people like trying to tear you down, and not like people are around when you're doing well, and then when you have like a rough splash, they just down. So you have to like reset yourself, and you have to figure out what it is. It's just like I had to like reset and figure out stuff along the way and learn about stuff. It's just being able to overcome all that and then becoming who I am today. I mean, who would have thought like a little country girl from a farming community would be like an Olympic gold medalist, college graduate, to now I'm coaching and influencing young minds. So, it's a blessing to be able to do all of this. So yeah, I'm all overcome.
I mean, you're going to be coaching a couple Olympians yourself in the near future. But Aleen, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. As I said, you're coaching now as well too. So what are some ways that people can best keep in contact with you? Because I'm sure you have a lot of things going on, and I'm sure some of these kids are having you pulling out your hair sometimes, but where can people continue to support and to continue to follow your journey?
So I have a Facebook page, and it's Aleen Bailey. It's like a blonde-headed girl somewhere. And I have my Instagram. I'm trying to figure out how to change it because I did it when I was young. It's called Aleen Babe.
Oh, you're trying to change it to something else.
I tried to give it a adult facelift, but I can't figure out how to change it.
You gotta ask one of your athletes. Ask one of the kids.
I think I should. Maybe I can't ask my little sister Renee. She's like tech savvy.
Yeah,
She was the one that taught me how to block people on Facebook, so she'd be able to figure it out.
Aleen, thank you again so much for your time. I know this episode is going to resonate with a lot of people because we're all fighting a lot of things, but sometimes people don't know, they feel alone, right? And I think the pandemic has kind of showed us that a little bit, that we're not alone. So I thank you for all that you've shared with us today. And again, thank you for coming on. And to me, you look like you can still run 11:15, 11:2.
I'll work on it. I have a race at the end of the season with my track kids, so I've been training.
Easy.
So definitely going to video it for you and share it.
Aleen, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. All right.